It really is a pleasure and an honor to be here this morning and to stand with all of these members of the Westside community, because all of us are standing in solidarity, understanding that what is going on emanating from Washington, D.C. is unacceptable, that it impacts all of our communities, not just one community, not just one population, but we are all standing in solidarity today with the immigrant community, and in particular, the Latino immigrant community. We have had thank you. We have had two successful court decisions. But even though we've had two successful court decisions, the administration continues with their unconstitutional behavior, coming and going to Home Depot stores, continuing to chase people through parking lots, detaining them for no particular reason under the auspices that they could be criminals, comes down to one thing, and that is racial profiling, because how on earth would they know that they potentially could be criminals? A couple of days ago, I stood with our superintendent and a number of educators, and we had a press conference because today is the first day of school. We literally had a press conference to assure parents that their kids would be safe, to encourage them to come back to school, and to reveal several strategies to keep their kids safe. And just think about that for a minute, because we were talking about protecting their children from their federal government. That is an atrocious abuse of power. And this week, we saw the experiment continue. The experiment moved to Washington, D.C., now under the auspices of crime. But it's all about the seizure of federal power from local governments. And this is something that cannot continue. We know the next step is to go to the Supreme Court, and we are hoping that we will have a good decision there. But the question looms before us. Even if we do have a positive court decision, will the administration follow the rule of law? But we're all here today in solidarity to say that we will continue to resist. We are not going to accept this behavior from this administration, and that Los Angeles stands united. And so with that, let me introduce the great councilwoman from the district, Katy Yaroslavsky.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here with you and to talk about such a critical time that's touched every single part of this city. This is true for Council District 5 as well. As we've seen all over the news and social media and felt in our own communities, residents from neighborhoods all across the region have been stopped, questioned, and detained by masked individuals claiming to be federal immigration agents, often without badges or proper identification. In many cases, they're presenting blank or unsigned warrants, or more often no warrant at all, and appear to be targeting people or are targeting people based on perceived race or ethnicity. One of the reasons we wanted to have this press conference today is, as the mayor said, because it's important to underscore that these raids are not isolated to one part of the city. They are affecting all of us. Just yesterday, right after noon, 12 p.m., my office received a rapid response text that ICE agents had descended on a car wash on Overland in Venice in this council district. 8 ICE agents brazenly detained 4 of our fellow Angelenos, 4 people who had simply gone to work. Earlier this summer, my office received reports of a woman in our district who was violently tackled by federal agents and had to be transported to UCLA Medical Center because the assault caused her to have a seizure. We've also heard credible reports of individuals being coerced into signing deportation papers without legal counsel or proper documentation, all violations of the Fourth and Fifth Amendments' guarantee of due process and right to counsel. To be clear, these rights are afforded to people regardless of immigration status. And these are not isolated incidents. They're part of a pattern that weaponizes fear and undermines the rule of law. You cannot stop people just because they are brown. Not in this city, not in this country. This is not how public safety is supposed to work in a democracy. It's not normal. It's not anywhere close to being normal, and it's rightfully shocked the conscience of all of us. And I'm proud that Los Angeles has been clear-eyed about what is happening from day one. and has taken every action available to us to take action. Thank you, Mayor, for your leadership on this, your unwavering leadership. Members of this City Council and our Mayor have worked with organizations like Churla to host Know Your Rights workshops and get critical information into the hands of the people who need it most. When it was clear that federal agents were acting in clear violation of the Constitution, my office authored a motion with Councilmember Gerardo calling on the city attorney to sue the Trump administration. The resulting lawsuit has resulted in a restraining order upheld by the Ninth Circuit recently that stands to this day, as the mayor noted. The work hasn't stopped. Most of the council members have printed, distributed, and reprinted red cards, which are small cards that come in multiple languages that outline individuals' rights when interacting with immigration officials. My office is printing these free of charge, so if there are any businesses, organizations, or community groups that would like to distribute them, please contact my office. We've also been walking our business corridors to make sure that each business knows what signage to place and information to distribute to try and keep their own employees safe. In other words, this city is governing with its values. The whole city is. Still, we see new actions on our street almost every single day that create fear across our city and, as the mayor noted, clearly and brazenly violate our United States Constitution and the Ninth Circuit order. This has gone on all summer, keeping kids from playgrounds, summer sports, outdoor movies. And now, as the mayor mentioned, just as kids are about to go back to school, LAUSD's devised new get-to-school routes to keep kids safe. I never thought we would see the day where we have to keep our kids safe from government so that they can go to school. LA has always been a city of immigrants, of dreamers, of people building better futures, and we're not going to allow fear to undo that promise for any one of us. Finally, I just want to close by pointing out that we're standing about a mile down the road from the Museum of Tolerance. That building exists to remind all of us of what happens when governments scapegoat and target minority communities, when law enforcement operates in the shadows, when people are disappeared in broad daylight, and when power is illegally consolidated. This is how authority is abused, not how freedom is protected. The museum teaches that injustice grows when it's met with silence, and that our responsibility is to stop it before it's too late. In Los Angeles, we are going to continue to meet that responsibility together, openly and without fear. Thank you very much for being here to cover this important issue. Now it's my pleasure and honor to introduce former Controller Wendy Grul.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good morning. I'm a former Controller City Council member, and most of all, I am an Angeleno, born and raised. And it is a city that I love, and people who call home. This is a city that everyone calls home. I want to recognize Mayor Bass for fighting for Angelenos every step of the way as the administration has sought to tear families apart with their cruel policies and tactics. I've heard from friends and neighbors and loved ones about how frustrated they are and angry by these reckless acts. And Mayor Bass has convened individuals and groups, many of the people behind us, when just a few weeks ago, when there was incidents that were happening on the Westside, everyone wanted to know, what can I do? And the women and men behind me, each of them are committed to a just city, a just community, and wanted to know, what could they do? So as we stand here today, we can stand up and use our voice to help the people. We've been inspired by doing our part, by everything from going to those restaurants that the mayor has identified and others. My friends and I went to a mercado to buy items because people were not going to their fear of that they would be taken by ICE agents, to going and delivering food to people who are afraid to go out of their homes because they think they might be picked up by ICE. We know that our families are impacted by this. Each of us has a role to play in the fight for justice and for American values. We are here today to combat fear and chaos by using our voices to stand up what is right and to make clear that every community in Los Angeles, including the Westside and the San Fernando Valley, I will say, is united against this chaos and fear being pushed by Washington. Many of us know people who have been impacted, families who are scared, families who are scared about going to school today. And I think it's appropriate, Mayor, that you had this press conference today where kids, remember our children going to school, how excited they were for the first day. And today, many are fearing about what's going to happen to them. So we are here to stand together because these are people's lives. They are mothers, they are fathers, they are brothers, they are sisters, they're aunts and uncles, and even grandparents. We stand with our immigrant communities and neighbors. We stand with our mayor, and we stand to continue to demand an end to these wrongful and harmful raids. And we are not going to be silent during this time. Thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce Rabbi Laura Geller, Temple Emmanuel of Beverly Hills.
I'm here as an Angeleno who loves this city because of its diversity. I raised my children here, and their lives were enriched through the friends they made through their multicultural public schools. My family of choice includes friends who have similar backgrounds to mine and friends who have become family over the years, some of whom are undocumented. Some of them helped raise my children or cared for parents of my friends. When they are in danger, everything that matters to me is in danger as well. While Washington, D.C. tries to divide us, we are growing more unified all the time. And I want to thank Mayor Bass for unifying us as a proud city of immigrants, where we stand for the rights of all Angelenos. I'm also here as a rabbi, the Rabbi Emerita of Temple Emmanuel. Two other rabbis are here as well, Rabbi Ruth Sohn, Rabbi Joel Simons. I am here because my religious tradition teaches me clearly that immigrant justice is a Jewish value. My sacred scripture teaches over and over again from the book of Exodus, "You shall not oppress a stranger, for you know the feelings, the soul of the stranger, having yourselves been strangers in the land of Egypt." I know the soul of immigrants. My great-grandparents were immigrants. This country was created by immigrants. A major Jewish holiday, Passover, tells a sacred story of ancestors thousands of years ago who left their homes to go to Egypt because of famine in their homeland. And sometime after, a new Pharaoh, a greedy and narcissistic king, rose to power, slandered minorities, spread misinformation to justify policies to reduce their numbers, and ultimately to enslave them. I know it might sound like I'm just spinning this for dramatic effect, but that's literally what happens in chapters 1 through 3 of the book of Exodus. Generally, when Jews tell the story of the Exodus, we identify with the Israelites, remembering slavery, yearning for freedom. But I want to suggest that today in America, we are the Egyptians, the ones who stand poised either to follow the decrees of our rulers because we're tired, because we're not in the direct line of fire, or to resist, even to risk our privilege in the system, like the Hebrew midwives who refused to slaughter Israelite babies despite Pharaoh's decree. So, right now, I'm asking myself, we're all asking ourselves, who will I be in the story? Who will we be in the story? I am proud to stand with my mayor, Karen Bass, who, like those midwives, is refusing to follow the decree of our president. May we, along with our mayor, be the midwives of goodness, of decency, of human dignity, and of justice in community, building love, building power, and building a better world. Thank you all for being here.
Well, before we begin, thank you so much. Those were just really beautiful, encouraging words that summarized all of our purpose for being here today. Thank you so much.
Mayor, and then a question for Rabbi Geller. For the mayor, to what extent and how specifically is LAPD working with LAUSD today and going forward amid ICE fears?
Yeah, that's a very good question. As I mentioned in my comments, that we had a press conference talking specifically about that. So you know that LAUSD has jurisdictions within the schools. Outside of the schools, LAPD will be cooperating when that is needed. So there is constant cooperating with school police and in constant communication where the need arises. I would just hope that they would have, that ICE would have the dignity to allow school to start on time and to not have the school year begin like it ended. As you recall, parents were reluctant to go to graduations. Kids missed their graduations because they were afraid of ICE, and ICE was hovering around certain schools. So I just hope that they will have the decency to not begin the school year in fear.
There was a recent op-ed from the Jewish Partnership for Los Angeles. I don't know if you saw it, but basically criticizing the fact that although a handful of liberal schools and liberal Jewish organizations in the city have been out front on this issue, for the most part, kind of the establishment Jewish organizations have not been front and center on these immigration raids. I'm wondering if you see that as a moral failure in the Jewish establishment, that people have not been taken
Julia.
I think that it's a very important question. LA Partnership, the Jewish Partnership for LA is an important new organization that is just coming to be, and it's not completely true what they say. There are a lot of involvement of Jewish communities, congregations. One LA is a Industrial Areas Foundation local effort that brings together synagogues, churches, unions, schools. It's doing incredible work. LA Voice is doing incredible work, the same kind of theory of change. And then there are individual synagogues who are doing lots of different things. The major Jewish organizations, I think that's an important question, and people like all of us need to be continually challenging the people that speak as leaders of the Jewish community for very loud voices about what's happening here, what's happening at UCLA. There's a lot going on, and we all together will stand up to those people who speak as leaders to make sure that the community, the official Jewish community, or who thinks they're the official Jewish community, take seriously the moral challenge of this moment.
Next question, Omar. You mentioned the economic impact that these places are having on businesses and community members. At this point, are there any numbers or estimates to quantify just how much of an impact this is having?
You don't have any numbers, do you? No, there's no specific numbers right now, but I can tell you that a couple of the sectors that have been the most heavily hit have been in hospitality and also our garment district, where our garment district has been a virtual ghost town. But when the cumulative effects are studied, I know that it is going to be devastating. There have been whole sectors that are impacted, and we will see reports coming forward. Sure.
Any other questions with the cameras? All right.
Great.
Sure.
On topic. You mentioned that the way the administration has acted with the recent raids has been unconstitutional and racial profiling. I just want to put a finer point on that. Are you saying you believe they are violating the TRO?
Yes, they are violating the TRO.